Congrats, this is your 10th broadcast. Yay. Meanwhile, I've got like 300 videos on YouTube, 350. It's Saturday, and it's noon, and usually the weekend before Thanksgiving, my team is quite stressed. More so than other weeks, other holidays even. I'm a little raspy today. Sorry about that. Anyway. And I was going to make a video specifically for them this weekend, or I was at least going to, maybe make it this weekend and then put it out on Monday or Tuesday. And I was also talking to other people about Thanksgiving. This year, Thanksgiving is a little more stressful. I touched on that on my last YouTube video. I think it has to do with the election. Primarily, I think it has to do with the election. Hey, Stacy. Hey, Melissa. Hi, Gail. How you doing? My team knows about this skeleton. This is this started out as a Halloween decoration, and he's just staying. Sneak peek. He is going to be in Larry's next video. Anyway, he's my friend now. He's my office mate. This is my new office. I have my computer here and all my stuff here, and I have another rack of stuff on this side. Anyway, so I figured it couldn't hurt if hey Vanessa, how you doing? I figured it couldn't hurt, hi Melissa, it couldn't hurt if I addressed all of my Facebook family. I do consider you guys my family, because even if you're not my client, and even if you're not on a weight loss journey, you might be on some sort of health journey, or you may be just kind of proud of yourself and in a place where you want to stay, either with your weight or with your food or something. Hey Connie, how you doing? Hi Evelise. Yo. Over the summer, we had some time with my family, my husband and I, and it was a gathering, and it had to do with food, okay? And my husband's restrictions, whether they are medical or moral, had an impact on other people. And it was like kind of an interest. It was kind of like a sociological experiment. It was kind of like I just sort of sat back and watched everybody have this huge issue with the fact that Larry didn't want to eat meat. It was like, anyway, we as a family decided that since this is the first Thanksgiving that he's vegan, we're going to just sort of kind of separate ourselves away. And I made a specific point to call my mom and kind of ask her, those vegans, right? Thank you for my hair. Yes, I'm working on it. I'm working on growing it again. Anyway, so I made a point to call my mom because I've got a tight Italian family. And I kind of asked permission, sort of out of respect. Hey mom, do you have a problem with me like not showing up for Thanksgiving this year? Not that I even have another family's, house to go to. We're just gonna separate away a little bit. And she seemed a little relieved that she didn't have to cook for my husband. So we're actually gonna sort of boycott Thanksgiving a little bit this year, just because it's easier. Okay, Thanksgiving is a meal, is a holiday that is surrounded by family, friends, tradition, people getting together, people loving each other. But there's an activity of food. And for a lot of my audience, food is trouble. Food is a problem. And I wanted to tell you a little story, very quick little story, about a story that was told to me this week by someone. That person is on a weight loss journey, and she had about 100 pounds, maybe a little bit more to lose when she started. She just recently hit her 50-pound mark. 50 pounds is a big deal. 10, 15 pounds, you can look at yourself in the mirror and you can be like, oh yeah, the chin is like kind of going away, my rings are fitting a little bit better, but 50 pounds, usually people notice 50 pounds, okay? So she's feeling good. She's like, yeah, I got this thing down. She's got a specific food plan. and she's got it down pat. She's, she's not even hardly thinking about what she has to do. And her significant other said to her, well, for Thanksgiving, we're going to go to such and such's house. And, would you mind not really being on your plan that day? Because it's kind of embarrassing. And she's telling me this story. And I'm getting like this, right? I'm like, I'm getting mad. And she's not even as mad as me. I think I'm breaking up here. I'm not sure. Anyway, I initially got angry. I don't know the boyfriend. Whatever. And, but here's the thing. I understand it. I'm not saying it's okay, but I understand it. That's not what Thanksgiving is supposed to be about. Thanksgiving is not supposed to be about putting on a show for people that you know and not acting like yourself and not doing what you need to do. That's like asking the tall guy to not be vegan. Exactly right. It's not just a moral issue for her, it's a health issue for her. And I said to her, as I've said to other people who've had stress around the idea of eating in public, you are perfectly allowed to say no and yes to whatever you want to. You could also tell people that you're gluten sensitive. For most people, gluten equals carb. And for most people, they like to limit their carb if they're on a weight loss journey. And for most of the population, we are gluten sensitive. Even if you don't have the runs or heartburn or irritable bowel syndrome, chances are, if you're a human being, you have some sort of gluten sensitivity someplace in you, okay? So you have every right to speak up and say, I'm gluten sensitive. I'm not going to eat that. Not, can I not eat that? You also have the right, thank you, Christina. Thanks. MAC lipstick. Anyway, you also have the right to tell anybody that you want that you're pre-diabetic. Because if you're a human being and you're walking on this earth, you are pre-diabetic. You're pre-anything. You're pre-death. Right? But I have told people, celiac disease, exactly. That's a little bit of a fib. If you don't have a diagnosis of celiac disease, then maybe you don't want to tell people that you have celiac disease. But you're definitely gluten sensitive. Everybody is. Everybody's sugar sensitive. So you don't necessarily have to go in there and say, hi, I'm doing the Whole30. Hi, I'm doing medifast. Hi, I'm doing this. I'm bringing my bars with me. I'm going to bring this with me. I can't eat that. And being all evangelistic about, you shouldn't be eating that either. Da, 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 da. No, it's not about that. If you don't want the holiday to be about your food, then don't make it about your food. Don't eat what you don't want to eat and eat what you want to eat. Okay? So, this client, unfortunately, the boyfriend kind of poo-pooed on her great week that she hit her 50-pound mark down. And I hope that it's not an issue in the future with them. Because speaking from personal experience, I have a relationship in my past that was centered around sizes. And when sizes changed, the relationship ended. We're just going to leave it at that. So, if somebody says to you, hey, can you not be on your plan? You've got every right to say, you know what? No. Because this is my health and this is my life and this is me and this is what I need to do right now. So, because what you eat produces what your body does. You are what you eat. It sounds really, really, I'm allergic to crappy tasting food. Some people are allergic to just certain kinds of exercise, right? You are what you eat. Your body regenerates itself via the food that you put into your mouth. So you have every right to dictate what goes into your mouth, okay? So if we get off that subject and we go on to another subject of, are you cooking or not? I cooked Christmas once. And other than being absolutely exhausting, I loved it. But my house, my home, I live in an apartment, is very small. So I probably won't be confronted with that challenge anytime soon. But if you're cooking and you're planning on sticking to a certain regimen of food that you eat, you bring your own stuff? Okay. I'm going to get to that, actually. I'm going to specifically talk about that. If you are cooking And you are also going to be sticking to your plan, whatever your plan is, whether it's low carb, paleo, Weight Watchers, whatever it is. I'm not putting anything down. Every diet works. Every meal plan works if you do what you're supposed to do. Anyway, if you're going to be cooking, I hope you're strong. I mean, if you're cooking for the whole family and you're cooking what you need to eat, then that's great. But if you're cooking stuff that you're not supposed to eat, my advice, if you think that that might pose a problem and you might be trying to sabotage yourself a little bit subconsciously, is to cook everything that you're allowed to eat, everything you're allowing yourself to eat, and then buy everything else. I can't tell you how many times I've cooked like a main dish and then I buy a Mrs. Smith pie. Because I'm not going to sit there and not lick my fingers. I'm just not going to do it, you know? Okay. So maybe think about asking everybody else to bring the stuff that you aren't allowing yourself to eat right now. Because, you know, you never know what's going to happen next Thanksgiving. You don't want to step on anybody's toes. You don't want to invite people to your home and then you're serving just meat and vegetables. I mean, that would be great if everybody just ate that. It's probably the healthiest way to go. But it's Thanksgiving. It's a holiday, you know? You also need to make the decision, even if you're cooking or not. You should be making the decision before Thanksgiving if you're going to be staying on your plan or not. I'm hoping that every single one of my clients reports into me on Wednesday afternoon. And I'm telling them to do that right now, I guess, right? Wednesday afternoon, I want an email or a text from every single person that is on my team. And I want them to tell me if they're going to stick to their plan or not. And I don't judge. And I respect both ways. I respect it if you're going to stick to your plan. That means that you're invested very, very deeply into your health. And that's awesome. That means that you're prioritizing being with family and friends. And you're prioritizing yourself at the same time. If you decide to go off your plan, I also respect that too, because I've done that. Because you're also respecting tradition. And for a lot of people, tradition has food attached to it. Specifically my family. I mean, you can't. My mother does not have Thanksgiving without the stuffing. We call it stuffing, we don't call it dressing. Stuffing with the, you know, she makes it with like the croutons and the Jimmy Dean sausage and onions and celery. And it is just, I can taste it right now. I'm 44 years old and I've had it probably 41 times. I think there was a couple of years in my 20s that I didn't, you know, sort of flitted away on Thanksgiving. But yeah, I mean, I can taste it right now. And she never makes it outside of Thanksgiving. It's once a year. And even if I'm not home for Thanksgiving, she saves me a cup, you know. Or, you know, your grandmother's pie or your aunt's cheesecake. I have an aunt that makes the most amazing cheesecake known to man. So you can go off your plan if you want to, I guess, but it's really good for you to make that decision a couple of days before. Talk to your health coach, talk to your support system, whatever that is. And if you don't have a support system, talk to yourself and say, I'm choosing to do this because, and you better have some good reasons to go off plan, not just it tastes good, but that it's something that I never get to eat. It's going to be something that I'm eating for the first time. Oh, whatever it is. I'm not even going to get into that. There's a third option. And you can say that this is on your plan. You can have 2 bites of everything. And then the main part of the food that you eat is lean meats and low carbohydrate vegetables. You can have 2 bites of stuffing. You can have 2 bites of, I don't know, what is it that people eat? Like collard greens dripping in like butter and blah, blah, blah. Cornbread, you know, pie, whatever. You can have just 2 bites of everything. My mom made a similar stuffing, put apple in it. Yes. I mean, it's just, a lot of people make stuffing that way. So that could be a third option for you. I don't consider, now one of the options that I'm not even going to recommend is ditching out Thanksgiving and not going at all because of the food. I think that that's not a healthy attitude. You might end up physically healthier in the end, but that's not teaching you what you're going to do when you get to goal. And I don't believe, my clients know this, I do not believe in acting differently while you're on your weight loss journey than how you plan to act when you're at goal. I don't have my clients eat 1,000 calories a day until they're at goal. I don't. Everything in moderation, exactly. Martinis, whatever you got to do. So I don't believe in abstinence 100%. If you plan on, imbibing or enjoying afterwards, listen, if you're not going to do it anymore, you're not going to do it anymore. That's fine. But if you plan on next Thanksgiving is going to be, I'm going to eat whatever I want, oh, that's not really it either. You got to practice. You have to practice moderation before you can ace it, right? So decide what you're going to do. Decide if you're going to eat or if you're not going to eat. Now, if you're staying on plan, this is my recommendation to you. I'm already at 17 minutes. Okay. If you're staying on plan and you're not cooking, I'm going to highly recommend that you contact your hostess or host, okay? I don't think that you need to say, I eat this, this, and this, and I need this, this, and this. But I think a very valid question for you to ask your host or hostess is, how is this going to work? If you've got 10, 15, 20, 25 people, 5 people, whatever it is, are you going to do buffet? Are we doing, are we getting up and filling our own plates? Are we going to do like family style? You can ask in a manner of like, can I help? How is this going to work? Maybe I can help with something. It's just so you're sort of pulling information, from your hostess, okay? Because if it's the kind of service that you sit down and somebody hands you a full plate of food, oh, you could run into trouble. You could have had your plan all set up, and then all of a sudden there's a plate with 1,500 calories on it, sat in front of you. And by the way, if you're not making it everybody's business that you're on a weight loss journey or some sort of low calorie plan or something like that, you could pretty much get away with not saying anything to anybody and stick to your plan. But if you've got a platter of food in front of you with like 17 different blobs of stuff, and you only eat 1 or 2 of those blobs of stuff and you leave the rest, that makes it really obvious that you're either disrespecting your hostess, and it is disrespecting your hostess, disrespecting the people that cook the food if it's not all your hostess's job, okay? You're making it very obvious that you either don't like something or you're not willing to eat something, and that is also somewhat disrespectful to your hostess, not really, but in their eyes it might be, okay? Because then everyone else is going to look at their plates and say, but I finished my plate. So what's wrong with this? How come, what's wrong with me that you don't think that you need to finish your food, but I do? It goes deep. A weight loss journey is not just you. You could be sitting in a room all by yourself, and I guess then that would be just you. But my past 3 years has impacted my family greatly. Okay? It's not just because I changed my job. It's not just because I made this sort of like my life. Even if I had not done that, if I was still an acting massage therapist right now, my family would be living differently than they did 3 years ago. We would not be having takeout 4 nights a week. We would not have a cabinet full of, we would have had cabinets full of Pop-Tarts and chips and whole milk and, cheese and me baking lasagna once a week and doing the sauce on Sunday morning. Everything you are saying is all true. It makes sense. Yes. Thank you. I've been doing this a while. It's really a good idea for you to get in touch with your hostess, okay? If you find that you're sort of gathering information and you're not liking everything that is going to be served, not that you're not liking it, because chances are you're going to love everything, but not that everything is like off your plan. My biggest suggestion to you is to offer to bring a side dish. And that side dish is roasted vegetables with olive oil and salt and pepper. Boom. That's it. Because even if there's nothing else that you can eat other than turkey or some sort of meat, if it's like a turducken kind of a thing, you can pick the duck off, because duck is, I love duck, don't get me wrong, quack, quack. But duck is fatty as hell. It's almost as fatty as me. Turducken is not, and then fried turkey is, as long as it's the white meat, you're okay. But if you bring a big ass platter of roasted vegetables, low carbohydrate vegetables, don't do beets and sweet potatoes, okay? You can do like, zucchini and spaghetti squash, roasted, whatever. You can do kabocha, how do you say it? How do you say it? Miriam has a whole video on that. You Take Shape for Life coaches know what I'm talking about. You can bring some squashes. You can bring roasted peppers. You could bring, I'm not even going to get into it, a lot of stuff. You can bring a huge salad, okay? And even if you can't eat the meat because you feel like it's not either in your, agreeing with your palate, or if it's not agreeing with your plan, you're just eating vegetables. Go ahead and eat the vegetables. And if you measure out in front of everybody, that's another cry for attention, I think. I don't think that you should be measuring your food at the Thanksgiving Day table. I've had clients that brought scales to restaurants. I think that's tacky as shit. Sorry, but I think it is. Anyway, so, you could just bring enough food for everybody and bring the food that you can eat. This way you're eating. Nobody probably will notice that you're not eating the other stuff. Hopefully you're not, handed a plate full of food. Anyway, the other thing that you could do, because appetizers are a little bit of a problem. In my house, it is 2 or 3 different kinds of cheese with like toothpicks cut up this big, provolone, cheddar, that kind of mozzarella, fresh mozzarella, because my brother's wife's father makes mozzarella from scratch, from hand. And then there's also like prosciutto and salami and, the hard cured meats. And then my mom lives in a very, it used to be very Italian. It's not Italian anymore, but there's a couple of pork stores. Pork stores, if you're Italian, you know what that is. And you can get, the Italian, the cheese and meat bread, the meat ring. Please, I can taste it right now. It's not on anybody's plan. That's not supposed to be eaten by anybody. Except on Thanksgiving, 1 or 2 bites, right? If you really want to try to stay away from that stuff, my family makes celery salad. Now, sounds a little weird. It's kind of like pickles, but with celery instead. You could make celery salad. Start it today, by the way. You've got to start it today because it's got to marinate a little bit, right? It's got to cure a little bit, whatever you call it. It's got to pickle. Make a celery salad. You can use anise. You can use... no, not anise. Fennel. Well, you can use anise too. That would give flavor. Fennel and celery and some onion. Now listen, for some people onion isn't on their plan, but it's Thanksgiving and it's onion and it's a root vegetable and it's okay if you have 2 or 3 slivers, okay? And you pickle that, marinate it, and then that could be your appetizer. And by the way, you can't really fill up on it. It doesn't have any calories. It has hardly no calories. Celery has hardly no calories. Vinegar has hardly no calories. Spices have hardly no calories. And you can eat and eat and eat and eat. And chances are you're going to be taking care of that appetite problem that you might have when you sit down to finally eat dinner. So I'm going to recommend celery salad, and I'm going to recommend roasted vegetables, okay? I do not recommend bringing your own little serving of food. I don't recommend sitting at a table and drinking, a protein shake. Listen, if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. I'm not telling you not to, but I'm telling you what I would recommend and what I would not recommend, okay? I think that's just about it, except if you do end up going off plan and going off plan hard, because I'm kind of like a go big or go home, kind of balls to the walls kind of person. That would hurt. As soon as you get back into your controlled environment, hopefully it's within 2 hours of eating, 3 hours of eating, hopefully, I suggest eating a 100 calorie, well-balanced 40-30-30 meal. When I say 40-30-30, I mean 40% protein, 30% carbs, 30% fat. That's what I would do, and that's what I suggest all of my clients do. Because that has a way of regulating your blood sugar. Chances are 2.5 hours after this meal, you're not going to be hungry at all. But not being hungry is not an excuse to not drink a shake or eat a bar or have a little cup of soup or something like that. Because chances are, in the past, when you've gone off of your plan, you've said, I don't want to drink a shake because I'm too hungry. So if you're not hungry, then why not drink a shake? If it's going to make you feel better and it's going to help regulate your blood sugar and get you back on track, hopefully it's within 3 hours of you eating your last meal. Hopefully you can do it in a controlled environment. Hopefully you're not passed out on the couch and then you wake up 5 hours later. probably hungry again, it will stop that cycle. So whether you're hungry or not, eat a small meal. Now, if you're not on a meal replacement program, you could also have half a cup of low-fat cottage cheese. You could also have maybe a quarter of a cup of blueberries with that. You could have a hard-boiled egg. Yeah, 2 hours after Thanksgiving meal, I had a hard-boiled egg and a little side salad because I didn't want to wake up 6 hours from now starving to death again, looking for the leftovers. Okay? Last one. I promise this is the last one. If you're cooking or if you're not, go to Target today or Walmart or whatever it is that's near you and get 2 packages of Glad or Ziploc to-go food things. What am I talking about? You know, those little Tupperware thingies, okay? Usually there's either 3 or 5 in a package. Get big ones, like this big, not like the huge ones, but like, you know, entree size ones, and then get the little itty bitty bitty ones. And whether you're catering this whole caboodle or, you know, you're going to someone's house, bring those with you. Because if you're catering it, if you're the one cooking and everyone's coming to you, you don't want that food in your house. Everybody has to leave with the food that you're not supposed to eat. Do not leave leftovers in your house if they are not on your plan. Don't do it. Don't think that you can handle it. Don't dare yourself. That's an exercise that you don't need. You don't need to make yourself stronger that way, in that way, okay? And if you're going to somebody's house and they say, would you like to take some leftovers? You can choose, like, what you want to take. Don't let them dictate what you're bringing home, okay? If they make you bring stuff home, toss it in the trash. Come on. It's just food. It's just, you got your containers. Awesome. And you can get, you know, cute ones, you know? They don't have to be the cheapest kind. You can get some good stuff. You know what? Somebody's feeding you. You can spend $5 on some containers. You know how much they would probably appreciate that? Even if they don't need them, they'll put them in the shed or in the, you know, pantry or whatever, and they'll use them eventually. Okay. So there's all my tips. There's all my tips. I worked on that this morning. So anyway, I hope everybody has a fabulous Thanksgiving. I'm going to shut up now. And if anybody has, I'm not even going to, we don't even know if we're having Thanksgiving dinner. We're going to be going to Baltimore. And I spent an hour looking up restaurants that we can eat Thanksgiving dinner, and there was none available. I finally found one. Yeah, thank you. It was greatly appreciated. I'm going to go through the comments from the past half an hour, like later, and answer and like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, we finally found a place called Bond 45. And it's right on the water, right by the National Harbor. And I'm really looking forward to it. We were in Baltimore in February, and we didn't see any of it. Like, hardly any of it, because we took tours of, like, the medifast factory and stuff like that. Travel safely. Thank you. You know what? We're really excited, too, because we're going to drive, and it's our first long trip in a new car. So we're going to be styling. They don't like vegans in Baltimore. Well, they don't like vegans in Queens either. No, I'm kidding. My vegan is the cutest one. Anyway. All right, I should really go because my kids just got home from Saturday school. My kids go to school on Saturdays for 3 hours. And I want to go give them kisses and love. So if anybody has any questions or if they want to add anything, just give me a shout. Either leave a comment below or email me at TeamMetallicaMom@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll tell you how to do it with a husband that loves to eat and look fun. Well, you know what? Who's more important? If it's that important for him to have the leftovers, then you take some like red washi tape and split that fridge right down in half. Irina's side, husband's side. That's it. That's it. Coconut, vanilla, orchid, scentsy. Oh, do you see all those boxes right there? Those are all mine. Those aren't even sold. I'm just going to blow through them. I love it. I haven't even warmed the coconut vanilla yet. What was I saying? Subscribe. YouTube.com/medifastMetallicaMom. That's me, okay? Email TeamMetallicaMom@gmail.com. Instagram, TeamMetallicaMom, blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows. Blah, blah. I will talk to you guys. I'm going to talk to you guys later. Bye.